Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So it's been a while, but we're finally getting back around to read-throughs again today. So I just finished recording the latest video for Spy Family. So we're going to get around to the next volume of Berserk here in a second. As much as I do like having my deluxe volumes here, I did get a digital copy from my library and download it just so I can also put it on my tablet. Just because it makes it easier than kind of holding up a heavy book in front of me trying to read from it. And showcase the pictures and everything. So I feel like this will make it a lot easier as well to kind of showcase off the panels and stuff I want without too much trouble. But yeah, so a couple of quick things before we dive into the video proper. So I'm going to try to attempt to start also streaming some games, doing some chatting and stuff like that on the channel. So my current kind of plan is I'll start doing it on Monday around 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if you're free at that time, you want to see me play games, get my ass kicked, come and join me. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to start off with Cult of the Lamb, and then we'll transition in a few of my other favorite games. I feel like it'll be a chill way to relax, and kind of hang out and talk and stuff. So look forward to that. Yeah, without further ado, we'll dive into it with Berserk Volume 5, with the Golden Age Chapter 7. It's been, I think, like a couple of months since I've done this last, so my memory's going to be a little bit fuzzy on what events were happening last time. We'll get into it with Guts riding off on a horse, with his mounted cavalry just chasing after him. And he sees him as he blocks the blow of one of the swords of a rider as they're riding along. And he ducks underneath his next sword blow and cuts him through the neck with his own sword. And you see from behind him, some people are trying to cut him down with or shoot him down with some crossbow bolts. So he cuts the neck of the horse the rider's riding on to make him fall and drop off, and basically create like a little tripping hazard for like the riders behind him also trip and fall over him. And you see more and more enemies are like exchanging blows as they're trying to chase after him. Oh no, it's one of the other band of the Hawk. I can't remember which one. You see they're trying to go after him, and you see Guts coming out from behind, spearing him through the neck as well, and like knocking him off his horse. And he's like, "Get out of here!" He's like, "Okay." And he's like, "That's it. Come and get me." And you see him trying to like grab all their irons, like they're chasing after him into the woods. And you see back at the fort that they defended, as Griffith and the rest of them are like riding into like cheers and like applause. It's like, success! Well done, Griffith! With this, until reinforcements arrive in a month, it's like, eh? And you see Griffith just taking off his helmet and walking away. And Casca's like, Griffith? And you see him walking outside again, I guess. And he's just silently taking note. He's like, what of our losses? It's like, doesn't look too bad. That new guy's doing better than I thought. The rear guard's holding out so well, the enemy doesn't seem to have much of a chance to snap at our behind. On a straight forest path, so many opponents at once. Now that's ballsy. It's like, where is he? It's like, don't know. I lost sight of him. The battle line got too stretched out. Hopefully he didn't buy it, though. And you see Griffith's just silent again. And you see back with Guts as he's cutting down more of the cavalry guys that are behind him. You see one of them hits him from behind, and another one hits him from the side in his helmet. And you see him just like trying to hold on to his horse, and he's kind of like almost slips off. And as he almost does, you see him reaching out with one of his legs and kicking the guy in the head. Hold on, is that the right one? Yeah, here we go. Sorry. You see him reaching up and like kicking the guy in the head as he's about to fall off his horse. And you see him just kind of like as he's about to tip over, he kind of like braces himself against a tree and like pushes himself back onto his horse again. And he sees, I think it's like a narrow little opening. He's like, now's my chance. And as he's trying to take off, you see them loosening some more crossbow bolts, and two of them take his horse in the face and neck. And as it stumbles, he's like, oh crap. And he gets thrown off of it. And as he lets go, he kind of gets back up, stumbles back up to holding his sword. It's like, damn, they got me. And then you see shunk, shunk, shunk as three crossbow bolts take out the guys pursuing him. He's like, Griffith? And you see Griffith flanked by two of the other band coming up behind him for reinforcements. He's like, grab hold! Throws his crossbow bolt away as he just grabs Guts' arm. And you see him just like hoisting him up onto the horse. And as he does, the big guy, was it Pippin? The big guy in Griffith's thing just takes his gigantic ass mace and just smashes one of the soldiers chasing up behind him into like a meat pulp. He's like, don't let them flee! And Guts is like, why'd you come back? He's like, don't speak, you'll bite your tongue. And you see them just riding off, being chased by the cavalry. He's like, this is hopeless. Riding double? They're catching up. He's like, just a little more, a little farther, and the forest ends. He's like, we're out, scatter! And as soon as they get out of the forest, they both like kind of both jump all off to the side. And you see the armies waiting for the cavalry with cannons and everything in front. And you have a fire! Oh, that's some good fucking paneling work, bro. Hold on, sorry, give me a second. You see good use of like the black ink and everything to show off like the cannon fire and the explosions and everything. That's some good artwork there. And you see Gus just like pushing up the visor on his helmet as he's watching this. He's like, retreat! And you see the cavalry guys running back into the wood, and you see like all the army guys just like celebrating and like coming in over to like praise Griffith and Guts. And you see fucking Mop Face with a chit as he's watching all of this. And you see later as they've all set up camp, they're like all drinking and partying. And you see the little noble guy up in one of the walkways looking down going, good grief. One successful sneak attack and they celebrate. It's like, cannot be helped. Surely this was a major gain. It's like, yes, we cannot be hard on them. But still, a most dreadful man he is. He manages his entire operation personally. He is young and lacks backing, but his men are extremely devoted to him, and his tactics are brilliant, truly dreadful. Tell you what, I didn't know what to think when Griffith took off. If something had happened, it's like, you lame brain, like anything would ever happen to Griffith. It's like, right, when you were the most scared one out there. It's like, oh really? It's like, but hey, Guts is pretty good. Yeah, kind of a mean dude though. I thought he'd just run off. It's like, some things only Griffith can see. It's like, well, guess we can say he's one of the Hawks now. Where is he anyway? And you see up on one of the parapets, you see Guts just kind of like casually leaning back against one of the stone blocks. And he's just looking down at the celebration below. And Java, there you are. What you up to? Nice and cool up here. And you see the rest of them coming up, some of them coming up to greet him. So come down, let's drink. You gotta have fun when you can find it. And he's silent and he goes, I'm fine here. And he's like, Guts, sir? Thank you for earlier. You helped me scrape through. My name is Rickert. I really respect you. I've never seen anyone but Griffith fight that amazingly. It's like, all I did was my own job. No reason to thank me. Like, same goes for you guys, right? The other two kind of exchange a look and go, well, we can leave it at that, I guess. I'm Judo. Nice to meet you. More importantly, come on. Things can't get going without the star. It's like, say what? It's like, tonight's party is also welcome you to the group. You about to turn down our goodwill? Really just want an excuse to go wild. And he's just like, nobody asked you to do that. He's like, Pippin. And you see the big guy coming up. And he's like, what? You see him just grabbing Guts and just hoisting him over his shoulder. And he's like, what the hell? Let me go. Don't you touch me. And he just kind of like elbows him in the face. You see like a small trickle of blood. And he just casually wipes him and he's like, don't be shy. He's like, It's like, hey, here he comes. And as he gets downstairs, you see like everyone just laughing and cheering. He's like, hey, enough already. Put me down, you fat-headed bastard. And he's like, I'm Pippin. And he just like turns him overboard and like dumps him down. He's like, son of a... And you see as he turns around, he grabs him a drink and gives it to him. He's like, drink. He's like, ugh. It's like, ugh. It's like, all right, let's toast the rookie with the bad attitude. And you see everyone just kind of hoisting their cups and smiling at him. And you see Pippin just like leaning in again as he offers him the cup again. And you see Gus just kind of grab it and he just downs the drink. It's like, I've changed my mind, rookie. You're one hell of a guy taking on that many men by yourself. You're awesome. It's like, well, a little impulsive maybe. It's like, there's some stuff only Griffith can see. I thought he was about to put you under when you slugged him, though. Well, anyhow, you're trustworthy. Here's to the future, rookie. You can see Guts is kind of like taken aback by all his praise being heaped on him. And you see Mr. Sourface with another as he's watching all of this. And you see Griffith just smiling beatifically at him. And you see Casca now like the one up above just looking down on all this. As you have the Golden Age 7 end, you have the Golden Age Chapter 8. And as you see everyone sleeping off the previous night, you see Guts back at his old usual post. As he's looking down, thinking back with the memories of the previous night, looking all thoughtful again. And I starts making sure I'm caught up with this. And you see Judo coming up the stairs with, "You're up early. You must really like high places, don't you?" With an Ayup, he just kind of hoists himself up onto the stone wall next to him. He's like, "Want some?" It's like, "No, thanks." "So how about the Band of the Hawk?" It's like, "How? Think you'll fit in?" It's like, "I don't know. Hard to say." It's kind of weird. Mercenary bands are never much different. They're savage, made up mostly of rogues and men with shady pasts, you know. I was surprised by how young everyone here is, but that's not all. Here it's different somehow. It's like, I guess maybe? Well, a little variety's good even for mercenary bands. We've got escaped prisoners, street urchins, sons of blacksmiths, and even second sons of poor aristocrats in ours. Yep. But if anything, maybe it's Griffith? I'd say those who've been completely charmed by Griffith, those who figure as long as they stick with Griffith, they'll get to see great things. Anyway, all of us are here because of his charisma. On his own, no one of us is any big deal, no different from any other mercenary. It's just that unlike other mercenaries who are so hardened they think only about money and their own survival, we're a little different. Around here, while we do spend every blood-filled day killing and being killed, it's strange, but we can also cry, laugh, get angry, whatever. As he got still kind of silent as he goes, "Griffith, what kind of guy is he?" He's like, "Huh?" It's like, I don't know." It's like, "Yet you're all charmed by him." It's like, "Whoa, hold on, just listen." It's like, how can I put this? Just when you think it looks like he's got some strange wisdom, he seems just like a kid. Just when you think he has a spine-chilling look on his face, he smiles innocently like a baby. Is he a child or an adult? A good guy or a villain? I don't really know what he is. You think of Guts just thinking back to Griffith's various mysterious facial expressions. He's like, but something about him is different from us. There are things that simple mercenaries like us only hear about in absurd drinking tales. Things that he would think of and do like they were nothing. I can't really describe it. It's not just his swordsmanship and his tactics. Ordinary people like us don't understand Griffith. It might take him longer than a lifetime to achieve it, but I guess he must have some kind of conviction. And Guts is like, "Conviction? He's like, in what?" He's like, "In everything." It's not whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. It's not whether we really know him or not. Isn't that just how it is when a man gathers other men together? As Guts is silently contemplating this, you hear a, "Hey, new guy, the boss is calling you." It's like, "See ya." And Jugo's like, "Guts, I'm sure you'll find it here, the place where you belong." And as he's heading downstairs, you see Griffith in all of his nudie glory, just taking a little bath next to the well. You see Guts looking all embarrassed, like, "Okay." It's like, "Hi, care to join me? It's the best way to sober up." It's like, "I'll pass." It's like, "Come on, don't be that way." It's like, "Cut it out, moron, we ain't kids." And you see Griffith just splashing a bucket of water on him. It's like, what a face, jerk. And you see Guts going and grabbing his own bucket, and he just starts splashing water at Griffith as well, as they have a little water fight. And Judo's watching all this, and he's like, "A lot of energy this early." And you see them just collapsing, laughing together next to the well. That was good morning exercise. Whew. See Guts dumps one more extra bucket on him. It's like, "Whoop," is like, "Guts, why you?" Like, "Now we're even." He's like, "Ah." It's like, and he starts laughing. It's like, "Okay, I give up. You really are stubborn, you know." And then Guts notices the little necklace that Griffith's wearing, and he notices, he's like, "What?" It's like, "That's a weird necklace." It's like, "Oh, this?" Oh, Christ, bro. And you see that he's got one of the behelets on this little necklace around him. He goes, "I bought this from an old gypsy fortune teller ages ago. The behelit, also called the egg of the king. You see, it said that whoever possesses this is destined to obtain the world in exchange for his own flesh and blood." And Guts is like, "The world?" He's like, "Here," and he tosses it to him. And as he does, he sees one of the eyes opening and staring up at him. It's like, "I don't know what makes it do that, but it's almost like it's alive." It's like, "That's creepy." And Griffith just smiles like a little kid. He's like, "Neat, huh?" It's like, he really is tough to read, but probably just a kid. It's like, still haven't heard your answer. It's like, huh? During the battle, why'd you come back to save me? He's like, having acquired such an excellent soldier, I didn't want to lose him in such a petty battle. And then he stands up and he goes, Guts, come along with me. This is no more than a single step. The Band of the Hawk, all the victories on the battlefield are just the outset, just the beginning. This is where it starts to get interesting. You can bet your life on that. I will get my own kingdom. You will fight for my cause because you belong to me. And you see Gus just like shading his eyes as like the sun is just shining down on him. He's like, I'll decide the place where you will die. And you see later as Gus is like walking outside, he's like, get his own kingdom. Is he for real? He's not nobility or royalty. He's not even a knight. So the commander of maybe 500 mercenaries is going to snatch up his own kingdom? The punk said all that like it's just a matter of course. He's about the same age as me. Can just one man mean it when he says that? It's like he's crazy. And then Guts like looks up at this guy and goes, what have I been doing these past 4 years? Running around from one battlefield to the next? Just killing enemies? Just surviving? He thinks back to his father and goes, where am I going? Still don't have the answer to that question, Gambino. And you hear, and sir, good sir! As Rickert opens the door and slams him into and drops him into the lake. He's like, what's the big idea? It's like, I'm sorry. It's like, I thought I could congratulate you. I heard you had 10 men placed under your command. That's amazing. It's like, it hasn't even been 2 weeks since you joined us. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 100 men in a year, sir. And Gus is like, this has been one wet day. It's like, now you've really earned a place in the Band of the Hawk. Congratulations! And you see him just like offering up a hand as he gets him out. And he's like, for now, he's like, just call me Guts. God, man, he's fucking trying to open up. And as you see him like strain to kind of reach, and you see Pippin coming in, knocking both of them back into the water. He's like, Pippin, you fathead! And you see the next day as you see these two armies clashing on the battlefield. And you have Gus just kind of like holding up his arm to signal. And you see Guts as he puts down his visor. You see his eyes just kind of like getting all steely as he starts rushing into battle. As you have the Golden Age end. And then you have, in this world, is the destiny of mankind controlled by some transcendental entity or law? Is it like the hand of God hovering above? At least it is true that man has no control even over his own will. Man takes up the sword in order to shield a small wound in his heart, sustained in a far-off time beyond remembrance. Man wields the sword so that he may die smiling in some far-off time beyond perception. Oh, we finally fucking getting to my favorite character. But you see, like, yeah, messy war, battlefield. You see, like, these two armies just clashing with... The war has gone on for 100 years. And you see, like, cannon fire on one side. And you see a guy getting speared through the mouth by a lance. And you see, like, another one getting speared through, and, like, more of them getting speared through the legs. And you see this army of guys, like, ram's horns, I guess. Kind of helmets on them. Or it's supposed to be like a seashell shape. And you have onward, trample, okay, as the ram's horns. Trample them down. Show the whole land how valiant are we of the black ram iron lance heavy cavalry. Kill them, crush them. And you see this gigantic on a horse like rushing through. What a disaster. To think that a mere 3,000 horsemen could confound us so. What are our generals doing? You have reporting, sire. The enemy's black ram iron lance heavy cavalry are so fierce for sustaining heavy losses. At this rate, even our headquarters here may be in danger. I guess the nobler the king's like, anyone will do. Anyone. Is there no one in Midland who can stop these black devils of Tudor? It's like, onward! And you see more of the lance guys heading forward. And you see a lone Guts pulling up in front of them as he reaches behind him to pull out his sword. Oh, with the swing, he just drops it out in front of him. It's like, nonsense! One horseman against the black... This is like one of those, like, when people make fun of, like, the light novels with the ridiculously, like, huge names. That's how I feel every time I have to say, against the black ram iron lance heavy cavalry. It's like, so be it, we'll mow you down. And you see Gus just like swinging his his sword behind him as he just cleaves through the leader in one burst and sends him flying backwards into his men. And he does the same through another and just cuts through them completely. And he's just cutting a swath through all of them with like almost minimal effort. So, don't break rank! He's only one rider. Surround him. Don't let him move. And you have Your Majesty, look, that's... And you see a bunch more soldiers and horses like pouring out of the woods. I assume it's the Band of the Hawk. Yeah, you see Griffith at the helm with the Band of the Hawk, the mercenary band led by the White Hawk Griffith, the Grim Reapers of the battlefield. And you see them just cutting a swath through the soldiers. And yeah, retreat! And as they're all cheering, you see like Griffith just lifting up his helm as well. And you see him just like doing a little thumbs up to Guts, who also lifts up his visor. And you see as they head back to the castle to celebrate, he's like, Captain Guts! So you were great, Captain, riding out there alone? That was so cool. I'm still shaking just thinking about it. You're the star of this victory. It's like, that's the leader of the Hawks Raiders for you, Captain Guts. Like, that's our boss, right? Yeah! And he's just like, oh, sorry about that, guys. I went and charged out there by myself. It's like, come on, what's that for? It's like, time to drink. Time to drink up. Let's toast him. We get to brag about our commander, all the other units. Like, damn straight. And you hear a Captain Guts. As Casca's calling out to him. It's like, Big Sis Casca. It's like, Unit Commander Casca. It's like, we need to talk. Could you come with me for a bit, Captain Guts, sir? So you guys get started. I'll be there later. It's like, yes, sir. It's like, what's that about? It's like, got me. Think they're gonna fight again? It's like, those two are famous for being at each other's throats ever since. They're gonna go fucking kiss, aren't they? Ever since Captain Guts joined the Band of the Hawk 3 years ago. It's probably about how he rode off on his own earlier. And you see how she drags him out to a little private alcove. It's like, what are you trying to do? It's like, about what? Don't play dumb with me. Your job was to lead your unit alongside mine to provide flank support and containment for the main body's charge into the enemy. And he's just kind of like tilting his head back. So, but you broke away from your men and then charged the enemy head on alone. Were you trying to be a hero or something? You might have gotten lucky and done well, but your selfish behavior could have exposed the entire Band of the Hawk to danger. You should try remembering your place. Yeah, she's like tries to grab his cloak scruff. He just kind of like jerks his hand away and walks off. He's like, sorry about that. I'll be careful from now on. It's like, you always say that. They're just words, and then you do the same thing all over again. Practically nothing about you's changed in the past 3 years. Ever since that time you went off on Griffith. You're satisfied as long as you just get to cross swords with the enemy. You don't think about your comrades one bit. You're just a mad dog. And as he says that, he grabs her arm. And angry, he's like, say it again. Say that one more time. This is the first time you see him actually looking furious. And he's like, that's enough, you two. It's like, Griffith. It's like, I'll have a talk with Guts. And Casca kind of just like wrenches her arms away and walks off. It's like, you're too soft on him, Griffith. And you see he has a sour face waiting outside with, that must really stink, Casca. Oh, Corcus, it's a Corcus. He's Griffith's favorite after all. Let's face it, arguing with him just makes you look bad. What do you say? I'm there if you ever want to off him. And Casca just kind of trips him as she's walking down the stairs. She's like, sorry. It's like, damn it. And you see with Griffith with the, so you two really don't get along. Here's been 3 years already. And Guts is like, I think about them. I do think about my comrades. I'm not who I used to be. He's saying like almost petulantly. You see Griffith just kind of smiling as he sees this. He goes, I remember 3 years ago, the duel that decided you would join the Band of the Hawk instead of wandering battlefields. That fight was enjoyable. It was how fights should be. And Guts is silent as he goes, come on, let's go. The wine's all about you this time. And he's like, Griffith, I'm sorry about today's battle. It's like, even that part of you is a part of my plan. And he just walks off. And you see later as, I guess, Griffith's getting knighted. You have, this is utterly unprecedented. A commoner attaining the title of knighthood? And court ranking at that? What on earth is the king thinking? But this last battle, the Band of the Hawk certainly did display much merit. So what of this stupid bunch of rabble? Without war, mercenaries would be nothing more than thieves. And Jav, in the name of God and the Spirit, I bestow the status of knight upon thee. But in the face of this, we cannot afford to remain idle. Certainly we must not make light of their battlefield exploits. It's only a matter of time before he makes his move. And you have be valiant with all due courtesy as well as faithfulness. And Corcus is like, now that we keep distinguishing ourselves in battle, even the court officials will have no choice but to recognize our power. It ain't just knight status, Griff, it's a viscount now. It's like, this means we can say bye-bye to being wretched mercenaries and join the regular army. And Casca's like, if you know that, then watch your tongue, Corcus. This is a formal ceremony. From now on, any insubordination from us could possibly cause trouble for Griffith. We can't go on being a backwoods army of bumpkins the way we have been till now. It's like, yeah, I understand, Commander Casca. Geez, you're more strict than my old lady. And she kind of goes like this at him. He's like, huh? It's like, what? It's like, hey, ceremony. And you see one of the nobles is kind of like bad-mouthing one, blasted bumpkins. And then Casca's like, hang on, where is he? Again? You see 198, 199, 200. You see Griff or your Guts is tying like this bundle of, I guess, sticks around like a training sword. And he's just like doing like one-handed swings with it, I guess, to increase like his arm and grip strength. And you see Griff is kind of just cradling the sword blade as he kisses it to finish his knighting ceremony. As we get, yes, finally, we get to the next chapter, Nosferatu Zod, Chapter 1. So if you haven't already guessed, when I did read this series, like the first little bits of it years ago, Nosferatu Zod was one of my favorite characters, name and design-wise. So I'm very excited to get back to his stuff again. And you have, it was crimson like a drop of blood. You have a flashback to Griffith talking about the Bachelet with, I bought this from an old gypsy fortune teller ages ago. The Bachelet, also called the Egg of the King. You see, it said that whoever possesses this is destined to obtain the world in exchange for his own flesh and blood. And Guts is like, the world? It's like, I will get my own kingdom. So that's what he said 3 years ago. You see kind of Griffith just kind of like playing with it as he's kind of looking over another battlefield. And you have reporting. We seem to have just about finished taking the enemy fortress. And the enemy leader? No, not yet. Presently, Captain Guts' raiders are laying siege to the inner citadel, but the enemy has a remarkable soldier. He's holding back the breach. And Casca's like, one man? Just one? That's pathetic. And Rickard just kind of says Zod. He's like, what? Zod. Oh, that's Judo saying that. Judo, you don't mean... I caught wind of a strange rumor before this battle, that Nosferatu Zod had been added to the enemy forces. And they all kind of just like panic with like a note of recognition, like, Nosferatu Zod? It's like, who's that? It's like, you don't know, Pippin? Among mercenaries, Nosferatu Zod is a legendary swordsman. They say he's killed hundreds, even thousands on the battlefield. But that's not the only reason why Zod is feared. Every time a rumor goes around that he's dead, he always shows up again in some other battle. And the unbelievable thing is, people have been telling war stories about him for close to 100 years. He's immortal. That's why Zod's called Nosferatu. And I see that's gotten, Griffith's just being like silently contemplative about this. And Corcus is like, hey, don't tell me you actually believe that fairy tale. Come on, little Rickard. So there are some mercenaries who revere Zod as a battlefield god. Something tells me if Guts ran into him, he'd go charging headlong like a madman. You see Casca just kind of looking at Griff's like a little bit troubled expression. It's like, this can't turn out good. Yeah, stupid bastards, let me go, Gaston! It's like, no way, Captain, you guys, help me, stop him! It's like, I can't let you do it. No way can I let you go in alone. A little longer, let's just wait a little longer. He's like, it's already been a whole hour, you ass! We sent almost 50 men in there, no one's come out! Now let me go! I was like, now let go of me! He's like, then we should ask Boss Griffith for and you see him just like grabbing his jaw. He's like, you try it and I'll kill you. It's one man. A single enemy's got all 500 of the Band of the Hawk's raiders stuck like nails in a wall. You ever heard of anything so humiliating? And you hear a scream, ah! Captain, and you see, oh, fucking Christ, man. You see this guy coming out with like half his body basically torn off. He's like, Delos, as he collapses. Zod, Nosferatu. It's like, Zod. It's like, that rumor really was true. It's like, hey, this is big trouble. And you see Guts just kind of closing his eyes as he stands up. He's like, hold on, Captain. He's like, keep back. Nobody come with me. I'm killing him alone. Oh, God. You see, Captain, as you head inside, you see Guts sees all of his, fucking Christ, man. You see all of his men just like, just beaten, like ripped apart and thrown bloodied along the inside of like this long cavern. He's like, what's with these corpses? Men in full armor torn apart like rag dolls? Feels like something incredibly strong blew right through them. And he's like, huh! Oh, the fuck, bro. And you see like this wall, literal wall of corpses with this giant naked man with a sword as he's impaled. A bunch more of them like through his sword with that. Sorry, I was trying to get the light to not reflect on it, but you see just a mountain of corpses. And you see Guts just furiously rushing in as he sees this. And you see Zod just throwing the sword full of the men at him as he flicks him off the sword. He's like, what? What the hell is this? As you have Nosferatu Zod Chapter 2. And you see this big hulking guy just like slowly advancing on Guts. It's like, what the hell is this? It's like, you parried that strike well, boy. And he's like, what's this? This overpowering sense has got me tied up. And you see Zod with this fucking weird ass blade because it's curved like outwards instead of the way you'd think it is. And you see Zod just like fucking like rushing in to slam it against Guts' blade. And as he swings it again, Guts dodges out of the way. And he just strikes like this huge slash like a column of concrete. And you see him exchanging like more blows with him, like a flurry of rapid blows with him. And as he does, sends like another flow, sending him back. He sends Guts flying back into one of the other columns. And Zod's like, superb. Guts is like, he's a monster. It's like, not one man in 50 years has been able to stop my sword this long. And Guts is like, it's taken all I've got to do it. Damn, I can't even get a swing in. He's the strongest. He's stronger than anyone I've ever crossed swords with. I was speechless at how good Griffith was, but this guy, his power is beyond human. It's like, what do? I can't stay toe-to-toe with him. I only parried him thanks to this broadsword. A normal sword would have been busted with one hit. And you see Zod just like cranking a fighting stance again. It's like the swords alone are evenly matched. And you see Guts in the next page. He takes like a sword stance with the sword behind him. It's like, ho! So being unable to keep blocking my sword, you're going to gamble everything on one strike. I'll bet you're counting on blade length to make a difference. But will it? Your brains will be on the floor before your sword can touch me. It's like one chance. It's like, interesting. I accept. Just one chance. Yeah, so Zod is fucking literally using the sword backwards with the blunt edge rather than the blade edge. And you see them both just kind of like rushing towards each other again. That is a great, great, great panel. This, man, this really does give me like FromSoft boss battle vibes. And you see, as they clash, you see the sword slowly starting to cut, Guts' sword slowly starting to cut through Zod's. And as it does, you see the blade go flying. He's like, boy! And you see a whoo! As Guts repositions himself and like slits a slice down through Zod's shoulder. You see Zod like trying to like block it with an X-Force in front of him. And he's like, got him! And you see Zod just grabs the sword. He's like, what a surprise. For being pushed back that far, I never thought you'd try to break my sword. You're the first human ever to drive a sword this deep into my body. Yeah, this is the fucking Taurus demon from Dark Souls 1, bro. Like, when fucking, like, FromSoft stuff, like, Dark Souls really took a lot of influence from Berserk, and you can kind of see it in, like, the designs and stuff, and this is the fucking Taurus demon. It's like, in these past 300 years of slaughter, as you have Nosferatu Zod Chapter 3. Oh, sorry, let's pull this up again. And you see this very, like, animalistic looking, yeah, like I said, just look up the Taurus demon from Dark Souls, and that is basically that. But yeah, I love that design, man. It's so good. And you see him like this monstrous bestial form of like these two curved horns growing out of it, as he's just got like Guts' a sword and like this grip strength. And you see his like knees just shaking, his teeth chattering. And you see Guts for once looks absolutely just terrified. As you have, it was enormous. It was terror itself. He's like, this is great. So long ago I'd forgotten the feeling of blood boiling. To make this feeling my own again, on the chance I might come across an enemy like you. Maybe that's why I've remained alive these 300 years. Now fight! Don't disappoint me! And you see him swiping just like this huge bear claw at him, as he sends Guts flying with the blow and he just smashes into another column. And you see Zod just roaring as she rushes towards him. He said, it can't be real. Monsters like this can't exist. And he said, gah! As Zod tries to bite him and Guts just like jumps out of the way. And you see like pieces of just like the rubble are hitting him. And you see as he tries to land another punch, you just see him dodging again. And he tries to slash his sword towards Zod's face. And it doesn't even pierce him. He's like, yeah! And he just swipes him with a claw swipe and sends him flying. And you see him hitting his head like bloody dropping down. He's like, what's wrong? Was that it? Is this all the power you've got? And he just like grabs him up by both of his hands. He's like, no. Guess I should say you did well for a human. But I won't show mercy. If you can't fight, I'll tear you apart. And he starts like crunching his claws into Guts' shoulders. He screams. And you see a bunch of crossbow bolts flying in and taking him in the back. He's like, huh? And you see Griffith standing there with like an army of crossbowmen all firing. And he's like, Griffith! He's like, hey, what the hell is that? Is this some kind of nightmare or something? Like, hey, is that Nosferatu Zod, huh? What is that? And Griffith is like, don't lose focus! Second volley! Fire! And you see them loosing like another blow of bolts at him. And you see Zod just dropping Guts. It's like, did we kill it? It's like, this mustn't be. I won't have this. No one may defile this battle. I won't have it! You see Zod just like rushing in towards him. And Guts is like, forget it! Fall back! Run! And you see Zod just like swiping through a bunch of the enemies, goring some, crushing the others. Oh, God, man. When Muira goes off with the goddamn artwork, he really, really goes off. Sorry, give me a second here. Especially when he does like just the black ink work. Oh, man, that is absolutely phenomenal work right there. And you see him like stamping on like other ones, like crushing them underfoot. He's like, it's no use. No human can fight this thing. He's like, oh, what a monster. He's like, Casca, have everyone withdraw. He's like, Griffith, where? And she kind of just looks sadly at him as he's rushing towards where Guts is. He's like, hey, can you stand? He's like, dumb bastard, why are you here? So you can complain after we've escaped from that monster. And Guts is like, why? Why has it got to be like this? God damn it. And you see Zod coming back over to them. It's like, where are you going? Your heart's still beating. So you have Nosferatu Zod Chapter 4. That's right, give me a second. He's like, fight! Fight me until you're torn to pieces! He's like, end of the road, huh? He's like, crap! He's like, Griffith! And as Zod roars, you hear, can you move? We're dead if I don't. It's like, you from the left, let's go! And you see Griffith rushing off to the right as Guts goes to the left as they try to pincer Zod. Oh, alright, so you see as Griffith's running off to the side, he uses his sword slash to cut through Zod's arm. And you see that Guts also cuts through his neck as they do. He's like, oh yeah, it's like, awesome! He's like, come on, run for it! It's like, Griffith, look out behind you! And you see Zod's tail just like smashing into him with Griffith! As he gets sent pummeling into a concrete pillar. He's like, ugh! And you see Zod just kind of like advancing on Guts. It's like, what a day today's been. That I'd meet a human, 2 humans who could wound me so. What the fuck, bro? Oh, I love this. You see Zod just grabbing his dismembered arm and using it like a club to smash Guts away. He goes in that both of them would be lost at once. And you see him like reattaching his arm. I'll start with this man. He's like, Griffith! He's like, it's no use, Casca! And as he's reaching towards him, he's like, what? What's this? The egg of the king! It can't be! The egg of the king? A cub like him with the Crimson Baglet? The God Hand. And you see, as everyone's watching, Zod just kind of goes, so, it's that kind of ploy. And he just smashes a fist upwards and opens up a hole in the ceiling. And he goes, our battle is on hold for now, boy. But I wonder if I'll ever meet up with you again. Here's a word of warning. No, a prophecy. If you can be said to be a true friend of this man, then take heed. When his ambition collapses, death will pay you a visit. A death you can never escape. As you see Zod just growing out like these two gigantic bat wings. Sorry, a second here. Yeah, see him growing out like these two gigantic bat wings. Fucking doing his Lucifer posing, and he just smashes out through the roof into the sky. He's like, what's that? A demon? And Guts is like, death? You mean I'm gonna die? Jeff, Griffith! As Casca runs towards it, Griffith, hang on! It's like, you okay, Captain? He's like, yeah, guess so. So you're lucky to be alive. Forget that, how's Griffith? And as he tries to reach from, Casca just swats his hand away. He's like, don't you touch Griffith. It's your fault. This never would have happened to Griffith if it weren't for you. And she's got like tears streaming down her face. As you have Master of the Sword, Chapter 1. And he thinks back to Zod telling him, death will pay you a visit, a death you can never escape. Then you have Wyndham Castle, royal capital of Midland. So did you hear about the Band of the Hawk? Yeah, you mean about Griffith's grave injuries in the recent battle? The soldiers are saying that some giant fell beast appeared in a Tudor stronghold. It's like just a falsehood. It's to conceal their own blunder. A simple but effective child's trick. But it seems it was just one or two not just one or two who witnessed it. Besides, they were eventually successful in subduing the stronghold. Even if he is wounded, you cannot call that a blunder. So this will be another step in the successive rise of his merit. It's like, it's so vexing. And you see, as these two guys are talking, you see Guts limping along. He's like, his bandage, he's got like a crutch under one arm. It's like, that is the captain of the Hawks Raiders. It's like, oh, it's like, clear the way, you churl. The last battle is quite the calamity. A beast appearing on the battlefield, eh? Did you receive those wounds at the hands of said beast? Perhaps in the darkness you mistook some mutt for a monster? And you see Gus just kind of smashes his crutch down on their legs as he walks by. He's like, oh! It's like, how dare you? He's like, sorry, pain's made me dizzy. He's like, you bastard, face my sword! As he tries to like draw his little rapier, and Gus just stops him with a look. He's like, scary. He's like, Guts, and you see him as he heads to the Band of the Hawk. He's like, what are you all doing here? He's like, should you be walking yet? And you see Casca just silently glaring at him. And he thinks back to her saying, it's all your fault. And she just kind of silently looks away again. And he goes, don't worry about it. Judah says, don't worry about it. Everyone knows that wasn't your fault. Casca got as worked up as the rest of us, and she blurted that out. Don't sweat it. It's like, so, what's everyone doing? It's like, we're all here to pay Griffith a visit. But there's a line. You see a bunch of noblemen like crowd around his bed. It's like, who are they? Officials, bishops, dignitaries from the royal court. The world's as kind as it's cruel, you know. There are statesmen who see Griffith as just an annoying upstart commoner. But there are also some like them who think if they stake a claim on him now, it'll pay off down the road. Well, guess it's only natural. These days Griffith's all wins and no losses. In fact, he's head of the mightiest armed force in Midland. And Guts is just like, alright. It's like, alright, huh? And Casca's like, hey, weren't you listening just now? It's like, I was listening. So what? It's like, so what? What do you mean, so what? I'm saying you need to wait here until the dignitaries have finished their audience. It's like, what difference does it make? It's just dropping on a wounded man. Who gives a damn about social status? He's like, Guts, it's like, I'm going. Out of the way. And you see the two soldiers at the entrance just like crossing their spears to block his entrance. He goes, you shall not pass. Please wait until the dignitaries are finished. And he just smirks at them, grabs one of their spears and trips them down the stairs. It's like, Guts! He's like, knave! It's like, right. Give me a break. He just grabs again, trips the other guy down the stairs. It's like, sorry. It's like, oh boy. It's like, that dumbass. And he's like, want to come, Rickard? And Rickard's like, oh, I'm good, bro. It's like, yo, Griff. It's like, you want more? Give it up. And you see Casca coming up and just punching him in the face. And kind of like gets knocked back in surprise. Everyone's just shocked. He's like, like, the hell, you crazy bitch? And you see she's like tearing up a little bit. He's like, why? Why do you always have to be this way? Why does Griffith bother with a guy like you so much? He's like, what's that about? It's like, ow. I'm the one who should be crying. That ain't no woman's punch. And he's like, and he just like walks back out again. It's like, hey, Guts? It's like, forget it. He'll just come back. And Rickart's like, still, I kind of know how Guts feels. Lately, Griffith has been kind of hard to approach, I guess. It's like he's drifted away from us some. And you see Guts is back to like swinging the sword and practicing again. It's like, you're satisfied as long as you just get to cross swords with the enemy. You don't think about your comrades one bit. You're just a mad dog. And he's like, why do you always have to be this way? He's like, it's your fault. And he's like, damn it. What's that bitch's problem? And you hear, don't get angry. It's like, Griffith, it's like, you can swing a sword already? Even though you're wounded so much worse than I? You really are tough. Sorry about yesterday. I heard you came to see me with everyone else. Those officials all think they can gain favor by appearing to care for a wounded man day after day. It's like, it's enough to make me sick. But, well, it can't be helped. It's absolutely necessary in order to gain status in this kingdom. Guts is just like silently observing. And he goes, Nosferatu Zod. Who'd have thought that a monster that fantastic exists? Felt like I was having a nightmare. But if you look at it in a different way, it might be a proof that there's some huge something beyond human understanding in this world. For instance, what are called gods or something? It's like, don't you mean... fucking Christ, bro. Don't you mean devils? It's like, who knows? I got two good titles for this video now. It's like, aren't they the same thing? By the way, how did I make it out of that? I mean, I passed out partway through. And Guts is like, that thing you wear around your neck. For some reason, he flew off when he saw that. And Griffith is like, the Behelit. It's like, Zod knew what that thing was. And he thinks back to his words about, like, if you think it's said to be a true friend, it's like, then take heed when his ambition collapses. Death will pay you a visit, a death you can never escape. It's like, looks like this thing even protects against evil spirits. So I'll have to go thank the old gypsy woman. And Guts is like, that's another one I owe you. It's like, why is it? 3 years ago you said I can't lose such an excellent soldier. But to put your life on the line for just one soldier, that's a hot-headed thing for a calm, composed guy like you to do. So why? And he's like, my discussion from 3 years ago. Sure can be picky. It's like, there's no reason at all. Do I need one? A reason? Tell me, do I need a reason each time I put myself in harm's way for your sake? Alright, so I will stop that there. I think that's actually a good length for this episode video. So yeah, that was very, very solid chapter of Berserk. Not too much more to say. Like, you can kind of tell that this is like all kind of like narrative setup for the tragedy that's about to hit us in like, what is it gonna be, like 2 or 3 volumes, I think, before we get into like that kind of stuff. But I do see how you kind of see like Guts starting to like kind of open up and like start to move past his trauma and heal from it a little bit. And you see him becoming like a little bit more responsible as a leader, you know, starting to kind of like actually care about his men, care about other people beyond just himself and his own ambitions. So I did really like those elements of it. And you see also kind of like also Griffith's kind of like rise to power, and you can see kind of, I don't want to say like his ego is kind of ballooning, even though that is technically true as to what's happening, because I don't know, can you call it ego if it's like, oh, you know, you just expect things to happen, and when they do happen as you expect, you know, it's kind of just because it's kind of like the whole fate versus destiny thing. And I know like Berserk scholars or like other people have done like more in-depth kind of analyses. These can probably speak more deeply and deeply on this. But I do know it's kind of like one of the narrative like themes and through lines of this is kind of like fighting against fate and destiny versus kind of like accepting kind of like what happens to you. So I'm curious to see like how that's gonna play out further. But I did like all the little like the character moments where you have them have like a little water fight as they're kind of like joking together and everything, and you can kind of see like Casca's jealousy towards Griffith and Guts' relationship kind of building as she's been kind of like tossed aside for this shiny new toy. One of the moments I really did like is you kind of can tell like, you know, Guts' trauma kind of acts up when people kind of like consentingly kind of grab or touch him. You can see he's kind of trauma rearing up in those moments. So that's a nice little touch and kind of like as a character moment. Apart from that, really much more to say. It's like a lot of setup and build up towards kind of the inevitable tragedy that we know is coming. Apart from that, like I said, Nosferatu Zod still one of my favorite characters. Even though surprisingly, the Taurus Demon in Demon Souls wasn't one of my favorite boss. I didn't think it was like a hugely difficult fight. But design-wise, I really do love his design of like this bear bullish kind of creature. And I do love that Zog's kind of like this ugly, like orcish looking guy that transforms into this giant demon. And I love that he was fighting with the blunt end of the sword because he wanted to like make this last as much long as possible. And like if he was going to do it with like the sharp end, kind of takes away the challenge of it. So I did really like that. But apart from that, yeah, I'm looking forward to where it goes because we're kind of seeing Guts kind of trying to decide, you know, what kind of future he wants for himself, like what his ambitions are, and whether that's going to come into conflict with Griffith or not. So I'm curious to see like how that's going to play out in his relationship with them. But yeah, super solid volume. Really enjoyed it. Hope you all did too. With all that said, I hope you all did enjoy this video. If you did, you know, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, I'll start video game streams next week, so join me for that. Until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.